Hello and welcome back to the series on short videos on obesity and weight management. My name is Dr. Francis Bala and I'm a bariatrician, a medical weight loss doctor, and clinical assistant professor at the University of British Columbia. Today I'm going to be talking about emotional eating or stress eating, which is a major challenge many patients are dealing with in the struggle of weight loss. Let's see if we could understand the problem a bit further today and offer a solution to you. So as you can see in this slide, the TFA triangle represents the core foundation of modern psychology. What this means, it says that one arm can affect the other two arms. So the feelings can affect your thoughts and actions. Let's say a positive action, for example, can lead to positive thoughts or positive feelings. Or on the other hand, a negative thought may lead to a negative feeling or a negative action. So in the context of obesity, let's see how that demonstrates itself. The next slide shows how we generally react to certain feelings. So the primary motivator among these three of why we behave the way we do is the feelings. Either to avoid a pain, which is a feeling, a negative feeling, or to obtain pleasure, which is again a positive feeling. And I'll give you an example to demonstrate this better. Let's say you're hungry. Hunger is a negative feeling. In order to avoid the pain of hunger, you may choose to go to any restaurant, let's say McDonald's, to eat something to get rid of that pain. And you don't really care about what kind of food you want to have, you just want to eliminate your hunger. On the other hand, you may not necessarily be hungry, you may go to a higher end restaurant with your friends to socialize. So in this scenario, the reason you're going to that restaurant may not necessarily be to avoid the pain of hunger, but to obtain the pleasure of socializing with your friends in a restaurant. Or it may be both of these at the same time. You may be hungry and going to socialize at the same time. This is a universal phenomenon where if you do a certain action or behave in a certain way, when you dig deep enough, you'll see that it either boils down to either avoiding a specific pain or obtaining a specific pleasure, or both. Now, when we're dealing with distress in most cases, and this usually starts in our early childhood, depending on what method or defense mechanism you have used and reinforced over the years, we develop certain behaviors. And there are about 50 defense mechanisms. Majority of them are being destructive. So, for example, in one scenario, one may react to a distress by taking alcohol, drinking alcohol, or taking drugs, which is a destructive behavior. Oftentimes, it is very difficult to directly change the feeling itself. So what we do, we end up indirectly trying to change our thoughts or actions. By default, most people who are not trained will change their actions, either deliberately or unknowingly. Either they know what's going on in their mind or they don't know. Most people don't know what's going on, and subconsciously they're changing their behaviors hoping to avoid that pain. These actions, as you can see in this slide, there are several types of actions which can be categorized into destructive or constructive defense mechanisms or actions that we choose to perform and repeat over the years. And if we have learned the constructive defense mechanisms or actions in early childhood and reinforce them over the years, then we will continue to do those. For example, one example for a constructive defense mechanism or reactive behavior is going for a run, or playing the music, for example, or journaling down if you're angry or upset or distressed about something, journaling down your feelings. That's one constructive defense mechanism or coping mechanism. However, among these approximately 50 coping or defense mechanisms that we have identified so far, probably about 45 of them are destructive. So majority of people learn destructive patterns over the years. One of these destructive patterns is overeating. So in the context of obesity, many obese or overweight patients have learned that behavior, which is leading to a problem right now, leading to weight gain for them. So anytime they're dealing with distress, they automatically, subconsciously, which is very powerful and difficult to manage and control, they go to the fridge and they start eating something. Why? Just because, unfortunately, that's the pattern that they have learned over the years and developed strong neuronal patterns in the brain, which is what they're used to now. So the next slide offers a solution, which I call the ABCs of mental health or stress management. This is like a CPR for mental health. The A stands for awareness. First step is being aware. So once you recognize that there is a distress happening and you are reacting to it in a negative or destructive way, that stands for A. The next step is B, breathing. As you may all know, breathing is a very common technique to deal with stress. So take a few deep breaths. And C, start counting. Counting is one of the many different mechanisms to distract you and resist you from the temptations to repeat that destructive behavior. Now, you want to make it a little bit complicated, count backwards. What I often tell my patients is, for C, start counting back from 100. So as soon as this happens, take a few deep breaths and start counting backwards. 100, 99, 98, 97, so forth. And the S stands for substitution. You must have a substitute coping mechanism, a constructive one obviously, to replace that, because if there's a gap, if there is no coping mechanism, guess what? Your subconscious mind is going to go back to that destructive pattern and repeat it after a little while. Remember, it's not easy to fight your subconscious mind in a conscious way. Because, like I said, the subconscious mind is more than 1 million times faster in processing information and feelings, thoughts, etc. I hope you found that helpful. Feel free to post your questions or comments on social media and I will address them accordingly. Also, you can call the number on the screen for a free consultation on obesity management. Until the next video, so long.